Do you dream of retiring with your soulmate so both of you can live your absolute best lives? Well, 31% of married couples are going to face a headache in the form of the fact that there's at least a 5 year age gap between the couple. And did you know that 68% of married couples, for the man, he tends to be years older than his wife? So, what's going to happen when one of you retires years ahead of the other? In today's show, I'm going to be sharing 7 ideas that can help you navigate around this retirement hump so you can live well into your third act of life. Welcome to today's show. My name is Vibreen Samuels, and welcome to the Smart Years, a place where baby boomers can reinvent, thrive, and live well into their third act of life. Now, there's a psychologist by the name of Sarah Yogev. She's also an author of a book called A Couple's Guide to a Happy Retirement. And she talks about this transitional phase, meaning it's an opportunity for you as a couple to reinvigorate your marriage, reinvigorate the relationship as you move through this third act of life. Where is it that you can find greater alignment so that you can live with far more harmony? The first challenge you're going to meet is the financial one, the elephant in the room. Can we actually afford our retirement life? Now, as the retiree, you may have the 3 pillars of retirement, meaning that you have a private pension, you have savings, and you can also draw down on Social Security. However, I have to say there is a looming retirement pension crisis because we need to go back to 2007, 8, 9, 10, and 11 when we had the downturn years. Now, companies as well as governments were severely hit because they lost billions and billions and billions of pounds. And what's happened over the last 14 years is that they haven't been able to fully recoup their losses. And those losses, that money is there to pay for pension commitments. So we're now living through a time when you may have companies as well as governments that can't actually afford to pay out on their pension commitments. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, with regards to the spouse that continues to work, what will happen there is that they are carrying the financial responsibility for you as a couple. And so, what is it that you need to do? You need to be thinking about a realistic budget, but the budget that can shift from a short term, medium term, and long term perspective. How much does your household actually need in order for you to live well? So, the first thing that you really need to be looking at is what are the household expenses that you can begin to reduce? What type of adjustments can realistically be made? So, therefore, the pension pot that is a combination of the retiree's money as well as the spouse's money is able to facilitate your life. So, that's the first one, the challenge of the finances. The second one is about lifestyle challenges. And this is particularly for the retiree because you may have moved past the season when you're thinking of, I've had all this time, I can do anything that I want to do. And you've really languished in that. That might be season 1. And season 2, you're now in a place where you're thinking, well, I'm feeling a bit lost in identity and purpose. What am I going to do with my time? And this is where you may be struggling because there's a lack of structure. And what you're seeing is that your spouse who continues to work has a sense of purpose and has a sense of structure. And what can happen here is that there's a disconnection that begins to grow between the two of you. And so, what you're seeking to do is to find opportunities for shared experiences. What is it that you can intentionally create between the two of you that allows you to get more aligned? And also, for you as the retiree, what is it that you can do to begin to fill your time so that you're feeling more fulfilled? That's the second one. The third one is about redefining household roles. So, as the spouse who continues to work, they have the financial responsibility and they're dealing with the income side of thing, and they are the breadwinner. For the retiree, you might be taking on more household chores in a way that you may not have done previously. So, what's going to help you through this? It really is about consistent and clear communication, whereby the both of you are really honest about how are you going to start separating out these roles, who's going to be doing what and when, and so that you're both able to clearly articulate what your needs are as you're both adapting to the change of one of you has retired and the other continues. By doing so, and particularly having the clear communication, this will help you to rebalance, reset your relationship so you can move forward with far more harmony. The fourth one is about the emotional impact. Why? Because you, as the retiree in particular, might be feeling a sense of loss of identity, a sense of isolation, a loss of purpose, not quite sure how to navigate and reposition yourself. And within all of that, there may be a small, but no doubt, a growing sense of resentment, a resentment about, well, maybe the vision you have for your retired life isn't quite panning out in the way that it should or that you had hoped, but also the resentment that could be building up towards your spouse who continues to work and has this sense of a more fulfilled life. And then read the spouse. It's a case of there may be resentments that are building up because you're feeling the weight of the financial responsibility in a way that you may have imagined you would, but the reality is proving to be slightly different. And also, there may have been more expenses, unforeseen expenses that have occurred now that your spouse has retired. So the emotional impact can be felt by both the retiree as well as the working spouse. Again, the key here is communication, and you might want to seek additional support that could come from, let's say, for example, close family members, or if you wanted something in a more structured professional way, you might take up counseling or therapy. That's going to aid the two of you as you move through into this third act of life. The fifth one is around new hobbies. You, as the retiree, you've come to the end of your working life as you currently know it. Now, in your earlier adult life, you may have had a whole host of hobbies and activities and interests that you thoroughly enjoyed. But, family life has taken over, and here you are now in your 60s. What are some of the hobbies? Could you go back and pick up some of those hobbies that you really enjoyed? Or are you recognizing those were my hobbies from my younger adult life? I'm a different person now because the person I am at 60, my needs have changed. And actually, I have other interests. There are other things that are calling for my attention. Here's a wonderful opportunity for you to step into this new horizon, take up these new interests, take up these new hobbies. This will lead to a sense of purpose and fulfillment, and most importantly, personal growth. The fact that you're 60 and beyond, just to say that every baby boomer by New Year's Eve 2024, this year, will hit 60. So we will all officially be 60 and above. And the fact that we are maneuvering through our 60s doesn't mean we have given up the responsibility to ourselves for personal growth. So, this is a wonderful opportunity for self discovery as you're moving into this season of your third act of life. It will also combat boredom. There you are at home, you've enjoyed the time, you continue to do so, but you can feel that boredom is creeping in on the edges of your mind, and there's a sense of resignation. Doesn't have to be like this. Check out some new interests and new hobbies and go and pursue them. The sixth one is about quality time. One of you is retired, the other continues to work, but it doesn't mean that you can't actually scope out quality time together. What are some of those leisurely activities that you could participate in where you're not sort of watching the clock of the work schedule? What about date night? Here you are in your 60s and beyond. It's a wonderful way for you to rediscover who each of you are as you're moving into the third act of life. Who are you now? What are the type of things that could appeal to you? Go and date your partner, go and date your spouse. It's going to be wonderful. Also, are there holidays you can book or day trips away? The key thing here is that this will bring a closer connection between the two of you. It will also increase intimacy and it will help you better support your spouse as the one who is retired, but also the one who continues to work. And then finally, you have either the choice of part time work or volunteering. So, as the retiree, you might think, well, I'm enjoying my retired life, but I could do with some income or just participating beyond your world at home. So, part time work could be an option. And here, what it will give you is purpose and structure and income. So there are opportunities that you can scope out, or you might be developing a solopreneurship whereby you're interested in starting a solo business. And then conversely, if you're thinking, well, you don't want to work and money isn't necessarily a pressure point for you, but you are interested in volunteering, because volunteering will give you a sense of community involvement. That's really, really important, and fulfillment. But you might be thinking, well, where are these volunteer opportunities? You have no idea where they are. Well, there's a layer of infrastructure that exists in all countries in the form of charitable organizations. And here in the UK, there's an intermediary body called Councils for Voluntary Services, or Councils for Voluntary Action. And what they do is they, as organizations, act as an interface between local residents and communities who are living their lives, but also there's this increasing social impact that is being sought together with local authorities, central government, and other partnerships, be them like the NHS or private companies, that their work or their activities are impacting on the lives of local residents. Now, you as somebody who wants to volunteer, a great place for you to start would be to go and check out what's your version of the Council for Voluntary Service, because they will be able to point you in the direction of a whole range of organizations who are ready and waiting for you to offer your time, your expertise. And given the times we are living in, there's even more need for us to be coming together so that we can be rising up to the challenges that's impacting around social impact. And we only need to look at our governments and some of the decisions that are being made, which is a greater call for us to come together. So they are the 7 ways in which you can think about this retirement phase, where you've got the retirement gap, where you can harmonize that gap, bridge the gap. And so therefore, you as the retiree can reinvigorate your life, and you as the spouse can find ways whereby you can strengthen that bond between you and your spouse, and vice versa. So I'd love to hear, what's your journey with this retirement gap? Put your comments in the comment box below. It would be great to hear them. And please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you again on the next episode. Bye bye.